welcome back to my channel. I am Coach Kayla, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about my sesamoid injury. So this video, I'm going to talk about what I did wrong that possibly led to my injury, as well as what I did wrong trying to get back to running, and then also the things that I did right that really helped to prevent this injury from turning into a stress fracture, and also when I was coming back from running and healing the injury. Now, I do want to say that this is not specifically medical advice. This is just a personal experience that I am sharing as I've gone through this sesamoid injury. And if you are dealing with a sesamoid injury, I know how frustrating it can be, because as well, there are many different ways to treat this, and no one way is going to be the perfect way for you. So there are definitely different ways, and you really have to find what way works for you. But this is some of the information, or some of the information that I'm going to share, is what I feel that really went well for me, or I feel like I did right, and then the things that I didn't do right really led to the severity of my injury, or really set me back from getting back to running. So number one is the general cause of overuse injuries is overtraining. So most likely because my mileage was inconsistent and I increased my mileage really fast, even though it wasn't a lot of mileage or more than I've ever done before, it could have possibly just been too much. But what I suspect for myself is that I previously may have had sesamoiditis. And so when I increased that mileage too fast and was running previously inconsistent mileage, it just kind of took it over the edge, and I finally ended up getting, that stress fracture. Another thing is improper shoes. It's really important to make sure you do get fitted and are wearing the right running sneakers. That is really important for your feet. Another thing is actually that I learned from another podcast. It was a doctor in physical therapy, I believe, and he was interviewing a marathon runner that ran the London Marathon that got sesamoiditis, and was sharing information about her journey. But he shared that actually running on the side of the road, and when you run towards traffic, there's actually a slight a slant in the road, which actually can put a lot of pressure on your big toe. So the sesamoid bone is in your big toe, or well, you have two sesamoids, but that can put a lot of strain on it. Another thing is hill running. So in general too, just with training, is hill running can put a lot of pressure on that toe. So if you're prone to sesamoiditis or have been told you've had it before, right, probably hill running isn't the best thing for you to be doing. Another thing is lack of strength. I really think this really may have worked against me with this injury, is that because I was ramping up my mileage and really focused more on the running rather than the strength, and was really not keeping up on the strength, I think my body had imbalances, because when I was getting faster and when I went longer distances, my body would get tired and my form didn't look great. I would actually lean. So I started to have some hip pain, and this whole side of my body has actually been having issues with it. And I believe it's because of that, probably just not strong enough in my hip area, and it could have also led to this foot injury as well. So that's one thing. Another thing too with training as well is maybe not enough cross training. Cross training is also really helpful as well if you have sesamoiditis, really not running as much and running and doing more of that cross training, just doing cardio but not having that strain on your big toe, your great toe. Another thing is not wearing proper shoes during the day in general. So in general, your footwear is really important, and we need to be wearing the right shoes. Another thing is jumping. So jump roping and rollerblading are probably not the best things to do. So when I was told that my stress fracture, my x-ray looked good and there was no signs of a stress fracture, I went right back into training again and running and jumping and went rollerblading, and probably all those things were probably the worst things I could have done coming back from a sesamoid injury right away. Also, not wearing orthotics as recommended after I was told that the x-ray looked good. So I think this probably did go against me, and that was, a choice that I made because I've been told that, orthotics are not the best thing because you want to actually strengthen your foot rather than rely on orthotics. But with this specific injury, I do believe orthotics can be helpful and may be helpful. That is something that I'm still looking into. I've kind of created my own orthotics, but I don't have any custom orthotics yet, but it is something that I'm looking into and I think can be really helpful, at least from the research that I've done, can be really helpful for this injury. So what did I do right? Did I do anything right when having this injury, since it has been 2 to 3 years of being told that I may have sesamoiditis? Yes, I believe there are things that I did do right, even though there's a lot of things that I probably did not do right, which led to the fracture. But things that can help to either prevent or help possibly even heal this injury is not running. Unfortunately, rest is the best thing you do, but also rest and strengthening that foot. So total rest, I believe, if it's sesamoiditis, if it's a fracture, yes, we want total rest, immobility to really heal that bone as fast as we can. But we do want to still strengthen that foot. But running is really the worst thing we can do. So 2 activities that I have been told that are the best activities for sesamoiditis. Both of my orthopedics said it was fine for me to do, and I seemed to have no problem doing them. I was worried about the swimming, but I don't think it was, the swelling was generally related to the swimming, even though I suspected that it might be, but you just don't want to kick up the wall, obviously, and be careful. But with that, right, swimming, biking are really great cardio exercises to still do that relieve that pressure off of that sesamoid. And then strength training, right? Strengthening your body in general can be so helpful, especially when we get back to running. We want to have a strong body, a strong core, so we can do core exercises, we can do arm exercises, we can do some leg exercises. Just be careful with leg exercises if you are in a boot or anything like that. Lunges can be challenging. That is the only thing that I have found that I really can't do is lunges, and I just don't feel comfortable with doing those lunges. One thing that I did do right as well is previously, before I got the stress fracture, I went to a physical therapist when I first started having pain in my foot. I did go to a physical therapist for 8 to 10 weeks. And I really believe sticking with that really helped, even though for a while I wasn't sure if it was helping. And there were times where I just wanted to quit. I just wanted to run again. But I really believe that actually really did help, because I was able to have a really good race season the year after, before, I started to have problems again with this foot. But I did have a great race season after doing that physical therapy for 8 to 10 weeks and really lowering my mileage or not running at all, really. Not wearing heels, that is one thing that as for women, or if you enjoy to like to wear heels, that is not something that's probably good for you to do. So that is something that I did do well, is I actually don't wear a lot of heels generally. So that is a good thing, because that can put a lot more pressure on the sesamoid bone. One thing I did do as well is when I was getting back from my stress fracture, I did start to run walk, which is very smart as well when you're getting back to running after a stress fracture, is running or walking and running and not getting, not running too much, even though you may still stay in shape, because if you're doing the swimming and biking, your fitness may still be there, but it's really important that we don't go too fast. Another thing is that I did wear pads in my shoe where I could offload the sesamoid bone, and that has been really helpful as well in doing that, because I was in a boot, but the thing with the boot is that I was, complete immobilization, so I lost a lot of strength in that foot and my ankle. But with the pads, I think you don't lose as much strength from it, but you still offload. So wearing those pads has been really helpful. It's just also been less debilitating than the boot, but I think too depends on your injury, if this is sesamoiditis or if there is a stress fracture. And then also icing and elevating it. So I've been icing my foot and elevating it. Probably should be doing this a little bit more, but that has really helped the swelling in general. So that has been really helpful as well. So those are things that have been helpful so far. I'm still in this process of healing this injury and trying to figure out the next steps of what is the best way to go in getting back to running. So I'm still not back to running. So I am hoping, and I've been researching some new treatments and possible things that could also speed up the process or really help to heal this injury. So I'm hoping those things, I'm hoping to explore those things more, and I will of course share as well here. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. If you guys have any questions about, sesamoiditis or sesamoid injuries and want information, I did post links below for you, or on the previous video as well. I have some resources as well for you if you do have any questions. And of course, feel free to reach out. I will also leave my email below if you want to contact me if you do have any questions. Thanks so much.